Hair loss does not begin on your scalp. It is literally built in your digestion, in your blood, and your nervous system. And until we have this conversation, don't let anyone tell you and to believe that if you bought this topical solutions ranging from the FDA approved finasteride, dutasteride, minoxidil, or even the beauty aisle selling anti-hair fall shampoo is going to solve your problem. Body is trying to speak to you in the most subtle way possible. This client of mine came to me last month. We did her discovery call, and before we could go into fixing her protocol, we dug deeper. We got a full panel blood work done. I'm obviously not going to discuss all of it right here, but I want to make this channel accessible, convenient for all those of you who would like to be empowered about your own bodies. So we are going to read about 10 parameters. So pull out your blood work and let's go parameter by parameter. Her vitamin D, her value is 55. The optimal range for your blood or your body to activate the hair cycling, it should ideally be anywhere around 80. For her, what this means, it's way below the optimal reference range, and vitamin D directly activates the hair follicle cycling. And below that is not enough. Most of the labs say 30 is normal, but if you want to have a good hair growth, this ain't cutting it. We need 80 at least. Her thyroid stimulating hormone is at 6.224. Now, optimally, as a functional medicine practitioner, for me, I would look at under 2 to 2.5. Even 2.5 is slightly high, but that is much easier to get below 2 with lifestyle. So for her, I'm aiming to get it at least to 2.5 in the next 3 months. And what does elevated TSH mean is whenever TSH goes 3 and above, it slows down your thyroid. And if you're perimenopausal, a sluggish thyroid is inevitable. But if your body is also struggling to synthesize this particular hormone, it is not going to prioritize your hair growth, which is a luxury tissue. Her anti-TPO, which is the thyroid antibodies, is about 535. Now, optimal reference range is 35. Now, what this means is she's definitely in the autoimmune thyroiditis situation, which is also known as Hashimoto's. And this condition will be the reason, primarily in her case, that's causing this diffuse hair loss across her entire scalp. And please understand, always get a full thyroid panel done with your antibodies, because this situation, this condition is not going to allow you to grow your hair, because no topical, this is not gonna let you grow your hair out. Her free T3 is 2.83. Optimal is about 3.5 to 4.2, which means her active form of thyroid is also depleted, which kind of re-emphasizes the fact that her thyroid is sluggish with her elevated TSH. Now understand this, your hair follicle is very sensitive to T3. Now any depletion in that means your hair follicle is likely to go dormant. Let's look at her free T4, which is at 2.83. Optimal range is 3.5 to 4.2. We need adequate amount of T4 to make T3, because T4 is the inactive form of thyroid and T3 is the active form. So now if her free T4 is 1.06, which means there is not enough T4 in the first place, so obviously her T3 is getting affected by default. Let's not forget she also has high antibodies. This is classic case of chronic stress. Her dihydrotestosterone is at 432.65. Optimal range for women is 24 to 368. I know that's a big range, but let's look at let's aim for us, if you are looking at your blood work, to be within this parameter. Now, DHT is a hormone that miniaturizes your hair follicle, because it literally goes and competes with your hair follicle for nutrition. In her case, it is quite active, it's quite high, which means it's literally sitting at the follicle receptor side, miniaturizing the hair follicle, eventually causing the hair to thin out and later on make it completely dormant. And that's where you start seeing the balding pattern. Now, this is reinforced with her sex hormone binding globulin value, which is at 88.2. Now, optimal reference range for women is 60 to 120. SHBG binds free hormones, and her SHBG is on the higher side, which is suppressing the free testosterone, but DHT is still elevated, which tells us that the 5-alpha reductase enzyme activity is overactive, and this is a conversion problem, not a production problem. Her free testosterone is at 9.93. Optimal range for women is anywhere between 1 to 8.5, obviously showing mildly elevated. It's not alarming alone, but in the context of elevated DHT and thyroid stress, it contributes to androgen driving hair thinning. Her progesterone, her value is at 12.4. Considering she did this blood work in her luteal phase, this is quite okay, it's normal. I have to look at its ratio to estrogen. Her estradiol is at 134. The normal reference range for a woman in her luteal phase would be 100 to 300. Always remember, ladies, your context is everything, especially when it comes to your hormones. Now, this ratio means estrogen is your hair's best friend, right? It will prolong the anagen phase of hair growth, which is the hair growth cycle, like the active hair growth phase of your hair growth, right? Progesterone is a natural DHT blocker. Now, if this is a luteal phase, this is adequate. 134, it's within range, but for a perimenopausal woman, the ratio of progesterone to estrogen is everything. Her follicle stimulating hormone to luteinizing hormone ratio is also looking a bit imbalanced in a way where whenever your FSH is below 10, obviously it's a signal that you are not in your menopause, you are in your reproductive phase. But her slightly elevated LH, which is at 7.98, is a perimenopausal flag. Your ratio to FSH to LH is also very critical in determining where you are at in your hormonal profile, which in turn will affect your hair growth cycle.